Trial and error is not bad sometimes, okay? So if I had, let's say, let's just do this one. Let's say 3n squared minus 17n plus 10, okay? So we just did this one with Xbox, right? You could do it in your notes. So don't do this on your Xbox one. This is trial and error. So go back to your notes. Okay? So trial and error, you may want to look at it and don't completely just discount it because it works good sometimes. If this is a prime number, and a prime number means it only has two factors, one in itself, then sometimes trial and error is okay. So let's talk about this though. Well, I know that if that 3 wasn't there, it was just n times n, right? But now that 3 is there, it's just 3n times n. Right? So I already have half my parentheses filled out without doing any of that Xbox business. Okay? Then after that, you really need to factor in a pencil. Okay? Because you're going to be probably doing some erasing. Unless you're like the luckiest person on earth and you get it the first time. So this is a positive, which always helps because I know the signs are the same. So I'm going to put my 2 minuses. Alright? Then I have to look at this 10. And I say, well, the factors of 10 are either 1 times 10 or 2 times 5. 90% of the time, it's going to be the set of factors that have the least difference between them. But now, here's where the trial and error part comes in. I got to just plop down the 2 and the 5 in one of those spaces. And you know how you check to see if you're right? You just do it. You just double distribute it out. Okay? So let's say I'm going to put the 5 here and the 2 there. Okay? Now I'm going to show you a shortcut because you're not going to have to box it out the whole time. So if I do this one, I know that's going to be 3n squared because that's why I put them there. What I'm most wanting to know about is what 3n times negative 2 is and what negative 5 times n is. Okay? And that's going to give me this. I know that's going to be a positive 10 because that's why I put it there. So I don't really care about that and that. All I really care about is these two. That gives me a negative 11n. I'm trying to get a negative 17n. So you know what that means? The 5 and the 2 are in the wrong spot. So that's when I take my eraser and I erase and I try it with the 5 here and the 2 there. It's called trial and error. You try, you get an error, you try again. So here is a shortcut. So you do not have to double distribute it out every time. All I really want is the 2 outside times the 2 inside, and then their sum, right? So what is 3n times a negative 5? And what is negative 2 times n? And when I add those together, what do I get? Okay? That wasn't too bad, because guess what? If you would have put the 5 and the 2 in the right spot in the first time, boom, you would have had it on your first time. You might still be setting up your Xbox and other people already got it. Do you see what I mean? Let's take a look at this one. 3x squared plus x minus 14. If I were to just trial and error this one, it would be 3x times x. Here's the other part now. My product is a negative. So I have to put a positive and a negative, and I don't know, it might not be in the right spot. But then I also have to so you got to kind of say, I'm just going to put the 7 here and the 2 there. Some people who are really good visualizers can visualize it without having to write it first. Like they would say, that's a negative 21, that's 2. Like that's not going to work, is it? Because this is going to give me negative 21. This is going to give me positive 2x. That's negative 19x. I need a positive 1. So you know what you got to do? You got to switch this, and you got to switch this. Now, just so you know, I'm doing these wrong on purpose to show you that how long it could take. You might get it on the first try, right? Okay? So what's this going to give you? Negative 6x, positive 7x, which is what? Done. Now, let me show you one other thing. If, for some reason, when I first put my signs down in any random order, if I would have had them in that order, I would have had a positive 6x and a what? Negative 7x. So what happens if you get the right coefficient but the wrong sign? it means your signs just need to be switched. Just like when the number was wrong, I switched the numbers. When the sign was wrong, I switched the signs. So I'm going to give you one that I want you to just kind of try with trial and error and see how it goes. 2c squared minus 7c plus 3. Just give it a good go with trial and error. So you know this has to be a 2c. You know they're both minuses. And 3 only has 2 factors. So guess what? Before you just throw something down, I'm just going to kind of look. If I want to get a 7, what would need to go here? The 3, right? Because 2 times 3 would be 6, and then this would be, so done. Look how quickly I did that. Okay? So let me give you a little hint. It's kind of nice to know both methods. Because when that was prime and that was prime, trial and error was a piece of cake. Let me just tell you when trial and error is a nightmare. If you have 12x squared minus 8x plus 24. Okay, let me just give you a little taste of what this could be. First of all, you could say 12x times x, right? And this technically could be 1 times 24 and 24 and 1. 2 and 12, and if that didn't work, 12 and 2. 3 and 8, 8 and 3. 4 and 6, 6 and 4. So I've done 5 trials, right? And what if none of those worked? That must mean that the 12 and the 1 are wrong. Yeah. So then I got to go back and change this to 2x times 6x and try all those again. Well, what if none of those worked? Then I got to try 4 and 3. And so guess what? Total Xbox problem right here. Total trial and error here. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So each method has its advantages. Got it? Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So when we actually do a problem and we get the homework and stuff, all we need to know is like how to put it in the
Yes. So these, I'm giving you an assignment on with this sheet today for those of you who want to use the Xbox method. After that, you're just going to have to make your own box. These little boxes right here were kind of nice because that's where the factors go. You're not always going to have those, like for example on this. So do you understand the difference between trial and error and Xbox and when to use each? Okay? So your